Hello, my name's Kevin. I just thought I'd do a quick review here of my Canyon Endurace 7.0 AL that I purchased back in May. This is a 1,000-mile review. Actually, officially 960 miles. And I thought this would be a good time to give a quick review of the bike. What I think of it, the good things, maybe anything that might be not perfect. I've noticed that there's not a lot of reviews over this kind of mid-range level road bike out there on the internet. Probably those that are buying direct from Canyon are purchasing some nicer or higher end bikes, and other users might be more prone to shop at their local bike shop for the usual brands such as Trek, Giant, Specialized, Cannondale, and I'll share a few of the reasons why I chose Canyon over those. What I hope to do after I cross the 1,000-mile threshold on this bike is to start doing some preventive maintenance, such as checking out the headset, the bottom bracket, bleeding the brakes, those things. If you'd be interested in seeing some videos of me doing that as a home bike mechanic, feel free to leave a comment, a like, subscribe, or anything. And I could probably find a way to do a few little giveaways of different things throughout the course of those videos. After 960 miles, the bike has been performing really well. Right off the bat, as I assembled it, I installed a pair of Shimano 105 5700 pedals that I already had. I took those off of a GT Series 4 that I rode for about 9 years. That bike was purchased as a New Year's clearance, and I upgraded it to 105 5600 straight away and rode it for a good 8 or 9 years until I realized that 11-speed disc brakes and everything was the way to go. As you can see, this is equipped with the 105 7000 group set with a compact chain set and a 1130 rear cassette, medium cage derailleur. You'll see I added some aluminum blue jockey wheels to that derailleur, if for no reason besides I just happened to have them. Aluminum seemed the way to go. These jockey wheels have cartridge bearings in it, so they do seem to spin a little freer. I'm not trying to save any weight or do anything with fancy ceramics. The derailleur does do well, shifts nice and snappy. I added some aluminum bottle cages. You'll see those are the Ablock water bottles I just purchased. I gave into the Instagram ads. They're pretty nice. I don't even remember the logo that was on those bottle cages, but I just put a real quick splash of flat black spray paint to hide them, to go with the kind of minimalistic look. Up top, after about 300 miles, I went ahead and purchased the Physique Arione saddle, much more comfortable. It's what I'm used to. It's what I had on my previous road bike, and it suits me well. And I went with the budget version Garmin 25 Edge, or Garmin Edge 25 computer, paired up with a cadence sensor and a heart rate monitor strap. I would be somewhat interested in power readings, but any power meter I purchase would definitely outclass the value of this bike. Along with the group set, the Shimano 105 7000 shifters, brake levers, and the hydraulic disc brakes were a very nice touch. They perform very well. I've ridden it in the wet and also plenty of dry miles, and the stopping, as they always say, is consistent. I have noticed, being I weigh almost 200 pounds, that when I'm out of the saddle, putting down a little bit of extra torque, that I do hear a slight bit of disc brake rub on the front end when I'm leading the bike from side to side, maybe in a sprint or climbing a hill. seems to be a little less when I make sure that these skewers are done up to where that Canyon logo is parallel to the ground. You'll see that these skewers can be repositioned, but that logo stays in place. These are all through axles, front and back. It works out pretty well that way. It seems to minimize the disc brake rub when out of the saddle if I've got that much torque. I don't really have a way to measure the amount of torque I put on the through axles, but that's probably one of the only things I've noticed that might be a spot for improvement, is maybe a stiffer fork or a slightly better tuned brake. I haven't bled the brakes yet. I've got the same size disc in the rear. And again, I tend to try to get that logo level just to know that I've got consistent torque on both through axles. And of course, level logos just look great. Some nice touches. I've noticed that the carbon fiber seat post in the back has markings so that you can get it to a consistent height without necessarily using a zip tie or electrical tape. When I assembled the bike, it did come with a small packet of fiber grip for that. And the website did suggest that you use a little bit of fiber grip on the stem bolts when you insert them, when you install the handlebars. And the first time I did that, I went ahead and used the fiber grip on both the surfaces of the handlebar clamp and on the handlebars. And after I did a quick little bunny hop over a pothole, my handlebars gave out a little bit, and so I came back, cleaned it all off, and only applied the fiber grip to the clamping surface, not to the handlebar. It seems to have cured it. Lowered my bars a little bit of spacer left just in case I need to adjust. I don't intend to really do any major cockpit adjustments until it's time for some new handlebar tape. And if you look real close, you can see that there's little bitty Canyon logos on the handlebar tape. That's kind of a nice touch. I didn't notice that for a couple rides, and I looked down and said, oh, they've got their own handlebar tape. That's cute. If you've got any specific questions, be sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to go ahead and let you in on what I know, what I feel about the bike. It did come equipped with Mavic Axiom Elite UST wheels and the Mavic Ixion Pro UST tires. It did have some Canyon branded inner tubes installed. I fully intended upon purchase to go ahead and use a pair of Conti 4002S's that I had in the 25mm width. So I put those on, rode a while with the original Canyon inner tubes in there. Had a few punctures. When I pulled out one of the inner tubes, it just felt a little heavy. So I went ahead and put some regular Continental Race 28 inner tubes in there. Might have made a difference. Who can really tell? But once you think things are heavier, they are heavier. So after riding for a while with the Continental Conti 4000s and inner tubes, went ahead and decided to try the 28s that came with the bike in a tubeless setup. And I can say it is a little bit more comfortable. I went from 80 psi in the tires down to 65. Seems to roll nice and quick, accelerate fast, and I haven't had a puncture since. We're going on about 250 miles on this tubeless setup. The purchase of the bike, they gave a nice little musette bag, little shoe bag, a I-beam style torque wrench with some bits. Of course, I use my own ratchet style torque wrench. They also included this handy just 5 Newton-meter style wrench. Possibly if you wanted to make some stem adjustments while you're out on the ride, you just carry this with you to get everything dialed in. For 900 miles, I've been using the Muck Off C3 ceramic lube. What I have noticed is in a wet ride, you can really tell when it stops being functional. I'm considering switching over to the Muck Off wet. It seems to be a little bit of a messier lube, but it does better. It runs a little quieter, It just needs a little bit more cleaning. I've been trying to keep the drivetrain clean about every 100 miles, and this has been cleaning off really well and reapplying well, but once it gets rained on once, it's no good. So it needs a re-lube. I went ahead and found a very small tube of fiber grip on the internet. I wanted to let you see it in my hand, so when you go shopping for it, I'm sure you'll find it. It's a good value and it's a small bit. You don't really need a lot since you only have the carbon seat post to really worry about. For the tubeless upgrade, I went ahead with the orange seal. It seems very popular. This little 8-ounce container is enough for both tires. Wait, I think this is a 4-ounce container, enough for both tires one time. I went ahead and bought a second bottle for the time that I need to top up, which should be in about 2 months. The bike came equipped with Stella Italia saddle. It's just not what I'm used to. I didn't find it very comfortable for my riding, so I switched immediately to the Physique Arione. I found for the way I ride, this part kind of cut in a little bit to my legs. So this is an unused saddle. I might try to give it away to somebody. If y'all want to put any comments in the video or say why you think you need a new saddle from me. That's about all I need to say about the bike after my almost 1,000-mile review. It's a lot of fun. You can look up my name. It's the same name that I use on Strava and Garmin Connect. If you want to see any of the rides that I do on it, you can see the maps and the stats. I run about 80 RPMs at my cadence, my average speed being about 16 miles per hour. So I'm a hobby rider. I'm not necessarily competitive, but I really enjoy getting out and putting about 20 miles in per day if I can. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, leave the comments. Be sure to give a like or a share, and look forward to doing some maintenance videos on this soon. Thanks for watching.